Netgear is out with a brand new mobile hotspot. It's the Nighthawk M6 Pro 5G, and it's unlocked, which means it can be used on any cellular carrier in North America. This is probably the best 5G hotspot that's been released so far, but it also is the most expensive 5G hotspot that we've ever seen. Is this hotspot right for you? Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Andy with the Mobile Internet Resource Center. The Netgear Nighthawk M6 Pro 5G is Netgear's flagship unlocked mobile hotspot. And when I say it's unlocked, that means it supports all the cellular carriers in North America, including AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile, including the major Canadian carriers. Typical mobile hotspots that you buy directly from a cellular carrier are optimized for a single carrier, and they do not work well when you try to use them with other carriers. But this hotspot, which is available directly from Netgear, can be used on all three carriers without issue. Now, we said this is probably the best mobile hotspot for 5G that's come out so far, and it's also the most expensive. And so we'll start with the price right up front, and you probably should sit down for this. This retails for $999.99. That's correct. This is a $1,000 mobile hotspot, the most expensive mobile hotspot that we have seen to date. But this hotspot does come with a lot of capability. You'll have to decide for yourself whether that high price is worth it for what you get. So as far as the device itself is concerned, it is a very advanced device and uses a Qualcomm X65 cellular modem. This is the fourth generation of Qualcomm modems, and it's the one that we consider to be more future-proof than earlier designs. And also, this is the higher-end model of the fourth generation series, and it has higher peak speeds. The modem itself is capable of up to 10 gigabits per second in laboratory conditions. For this mobile hotspot, Netgear claims that this mobile hotspot can see up to 8 gigabits per second on mmWave under ideal conditions. Now, you probably will never see that in the real world, but that just gives an indication that the cellular performance of this mobile hotspot is going to be very good, and it is really at the top tier of what is available now in mobile hotspots. So besides the X65 modem, this mobile hotspot does support basically all of the major cellular bands that are in use in North America. That includes LTE, sub-6 gigahertz 5G, and mmWave 5G. So it doesn't support the mmWave for T-Mobile, but it does support the mmWave for AT&T and Verizon, plus all of the other cellular bands. So this hotspot has very good compatibility with all the cellular carriers, as well as the carriers from Canada. So if someone is looking for a single device that can support multiple plans for different carriers, an unlocked device like this can work very well. Now, there are several variants of the M6 series of mobile hotspots, and it can get kind of confusing because there's two AT&T versions, there's now two unlocked versions, multi-carrier versions, and there's also a version that is specific for the new Dish network. We'll have a graphic up here on the screen that shows you which cellular bands each of those versions support. And you can see from the chart and the color coding that the unlocked versions support all the bands for all three carriers. Whereas the AT&T versions, they really focus only on the AT&T specific cellular bands. Now, in addition, this hotspot also has a feature that we like to see, which is cellular antenna ports. The M6 series, all the models in the M6 series have cellular antenna ports, and this allows you to hook up an external antenna, for example, like this Netgear MIMO antenna, which has connectors, TS9 connectors that can be plugged right into the mobile hotspot. Now, having an external antenna with better gain can be great for getting a signal when you're more distant from the cellular tower and improving performance. However, the important caveat to that is that when you are using the cellular antenna, the modem drops to 2x2 MIMO mode, whereas normally with the internal antennas, the modem in the hotspot uses 4x4 MIMO and with 4 antennas. So when you use a cellular antenna, you're cutting the peak speeds roughly in half. So you really should test with the antenna and without to see which one is faster. But for nomads that we serve here at the Mobile Internet Resource Center, having the option for an external antenna is a really great feature to have. Now, one of the other unique features of the Netgear M6 Pro is support for Wi-Fi 6E. Now, this is an extension of the standard Wi-Fi 6 that many devices have today, but Wi-Fi 6E is interesting because it adds another band of spectrum for Wi-Fi, specifically the 6 gigahertz spectrum. Regular Wi-Fi from like Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6, they use the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz spectrum. Wi-Fi 6E adds 6 gigahertz to that. So that is a very fast piece of spectrum. It's also very uncrowded, so you can get very good speeds with that. However, there's some important caveats when using that and also with this device. The first one is that Wi-Fi 6E can't be used with the other two spectrums at the same time. So this is still a dual band Wi-Fi device. It can only support using 2 bands at the same time. So it can use 2.4 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi or 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It cannot use 5 gigahertz and 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So for example, if you want to use the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi, you're not going to be able to connect any 5 gigahertz devices to your Wi-Fi because the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi is disabled while it's using the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi 6E mode. That's a real big downside because the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum is very crowded and you really want to be able to use, for example, the 5 and the 6 gigahertz combined, but you can't do that. The other caveat is that to take advantage of the 6 gigahertz spectrum, you have to have devices that are also Wi-Fi 6E devices. To connect to this, you need obviously devices that can use that 6 gigahertz spectrum, and there frankly aren't a lot around. Most major manufacturers have had tepid support for Wi-Fi 6E. Seems like a lot of them are waiting for Wi-Fi 7 to come. So there aren't a lot of devices out there that can take advantage of this. But the M6 Pro 5G does come with other connectivity options. And another one of those great features that we like to see is Ethernet connectivity. Now the Wi-Fi 6 Pro has an Ethernet port and it can run at up to 2.5 gigabits per second speed and also lower speeds such as the 1 gigabyte, and it will fall back to slower speeds if necessary depending on what you're connected to. But to use that 2.5 gigabit per second speed, you have to be on a power adapter. It does not work with the battery. So that's kind of a limitation. Also, there aren't a lot of routers and other devices like laptops that have 2.5 gigabit per second ports. So you may not be able to use that in all circumstances. If you're using the battery and you're on battery mode, then the port is limited to a 1 gigabit per second speed, so the standard gigabit Ethernet port. In addition to the Ethernet port, you also have a USB port for connectivity, specifically a USB-C 3.1 port. Netgear says that this port can transfer up to 5 gigabit per second speeds, but of course you will need a router or other device that can support those kind of speeds with its USB connection. But it's really nice to see that the USB connectivity is going to provide very fast performance with what this hotspot is capable of. Additionally, this USB port is used for charging, and it can also be used as a charger to charge other devices via the hotspot's internal battery. So overall, the Netgear M6 Pro 5G Unlocked is a very, very capable device. It provides a lot of nice features. especially features that nomads in our audience enjoy. And it is a more future-proof device than other mobile hotspots that have come out in recent years. However, the price point of $1,000 really makes us hesitant to recommend this, because for $1,000, you can get other types of gear that can almost equal or surpass what this can do. So for example, if you bought the flagship mobile hotspot on all three carriers, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, you can get 3 flagship hotspots for almost the same price as buying one of these. Additionally, at that $1,000 price point, it starts to get into the realm of enterprise level cellular routers. For example, the MemmWave Max BR1 Pro 5G is a full-fledged cellular router with advanced routing capabilities, instant failover, bonding capabilities, very advanced firmware, and it does come with a 5G modem, albeit it is a last generation X65 modem and isn't as future-proof. But for that same price, you can get a very advanced full-featured router that can do a lot more, including connect to mobile hotspots via Ethernet and Wi-Fi, that a simple mobile hotspot like this cannot do. So you will really need to look at your situation and decide if the multi-carrier capabilities as well as the other features of this hotspot are really worth the price for you. As an alternative, you can consider the M6, the standard M6 unlock that came out last year. This is the baby brother of the M6 Pro 5G. It uses the X62 modem instead of the X65 modem. Now these are both the same generation. They're both very future-proof. The main difference is the X65 modem has higher peak speeds, can do more carrier aggregation, things like that. But the X62 modem is nothing to sneeze at. It is still a very fast and future-proof modem, and it's one that we recommend. Additionally, the standard M6 doesn't come with Wi-Fi 6E, so it doesn't have that 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi, but it does have Wi-Fi 6, which is the current standard. It also has a gigabit Ethernet port, so it doesn't have the 2.5 gigabit capabilities that the M6 Pro has. But other than that, it's very similar. As far as cellular bands, it supports all the same LTE and sub-6 gigahertz 5G bands that the M6 Pro supports. And the key with this is the M6 standard unlocked mobile hotspot is $300 cheaper. That's a big savings for losing a little bit of capability. So at $699, it is still a very expensive hotspot. However, for our audience of mobile users, nomads, RVers, and cruisers, it's probably a much better value if you're looking for a single multi-carrier hotspot to use in your internet arsenal. Because most of us do not need those additional features such as the 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi, the 2.5 gigahertz Ethernet port, and some of the more advanced features of the M6 Pro model. And the standard M6 will work very well and serve most users just as well as the more expensive model will. But really, it's up to you to decide what will work in your arsenal. One of the things about mobile internet is that there's no two setups that are the same, and each individual needs to set up their system based on their needs, their budget, their lifestyle, etc. And there are certain use cases where you may want to spring that $1,000 to get this mobile hotspot. And if that's the right choice for you, well, you're going to get a good piece of gear that's going to last and be relevant for many years to come. So with the Mobile Internet Resource Center, we offer our members many additional benefits. We have additional analysis that's member exclusive about this mobile hotspot in the article that accompanies this video, as well as we have forums and other benefits for our mobile internet aficionados. So if you think you might be interested in becoming a member, please check our website and consider membership to help support this channel. We'll see you next time, and thanks.
These videos are brought to you by our premium members, our mobile internet aficionados. They make it possible for us to track this news and create these videos. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel, or better yet, consider becoming a member yourself.